This is a read aloud of Excerpt from In Omaha, A Library with No Books Brings Technology to All by Bill Kelly. Let's also make sure that we're reading the directions. Directions. Read this article. The word article really tells me that this might be an informational passage, so I know this might be nonfiction. Then answer questions 40 to 42. You also want to be mindful of the small blurb in italics right above the title. This will give you information about the text before you enter the text. So this says DoSpace is the name of a technology library located in Omaha, Nebraska. So we know this is in Nebraska. So this is the United States. And we know that this is a library that brings technology to all. So this might be a modern library. So that already gives us a hint of the setting. On the left here are paragraph numbers. We're going to start reading. There are no books in this library. Instead, it's jammed with high-end technology that it provides free to the public. As director Rebecca Stavik tells visitors, it's a logical evolution from traditional libraries. I've always thought of libraries as a place full of tools. Books are tools. Scrolls are tools. Computers are tools, she says. This vision of bringing technology to everyone in the community, it just gets people very excited. Taxpayers didn't fund this library. Instead, Heritage Services, a coalition of Omaha philanthropists, donated $7 million to renovate the building, which had been a Borders bookstore, and pay for computers, 3D printers, and internet bandwidth. Sue Morse speaks for the donors. With 1 gigabit minimum, to go up to 10 gig, to have that in a public building that's free, she says, that's really amazing. That is unheard of anywhere. That computing power also makes it a launchpad for entrepreneurs. We know people run businesses out of this building, and we're okay with that, Morris says. Hans Beckel is among them. This is probably the biggest dream of any developer. Anybody in this space to have a place like this, right? He says. Because this is our modern day office. Beckel manages his small multimedia business from DoSpace. He says technology attracted him, as well as the informal community of people who hang out there. I would be locked into my office, just sort of myself, right? Not hearing fresh ideas, he says. But some of the simplest and most innovative things I've thought of just happen through conversation. Across the country, other libraries are expanding their tech options, from 3D printers to video equipment. Susan Benton of the Urban Libraries Council says that the Omaha experiment takes the concept to a new level. To be sure, other libraries are looking at this, Benton says. The density of the technology and the scope and the ability for a variety of programming to be going on at the same time in one space is quite unique. It can be loud at DoSpace, and the range of activity underway is a little disorienting, from enthusiastic little kids gaming in front of a giant flat screen to classes for the blind on using home computers. High school student Frank Fu uses the laser cutter and 3D printer to design jewelry he sells online. The people you meet at DoSpace, it's diverse, he says. You never know if they're going to be your next business partner or your next best friend. At the bottom here we have a list of vocabulary words that have been defined. You'll see this when you see a word with a number next to it. For example, entrepreneurs. You can scroll down to the end of the passage or article and find entrepreneurs based on the number that is next to it.